Have you ever stumbled upon a claim that seems both incredibly simple and unbelievably powerful? One such notion suggests that if you scribble your name, place it in a mixture of salt and water, and wait patiently, your life might suddenly overflow with prosperity, solutions to all manner of problems, and an immediate spiritual awakening. It sounds intriguing and perhaps even attractive. After all, who wouldn't want an effortless method to dissolve obstacles or usher in abundance? Still, there's a pressing question. Where did this idea truly come from? And is there a valid reason to believe in it? Some individuals are quick to declare that this approach derives from centuries-old teachings or profound spiritual sources. Others remain skeptical. The tension between these two perspectives is precisely what makes this topic so fascinating and so important to explore thoroughly. In the following in-depth discussion, we'll examine whether this name in saltwater approach is indeed some hidden gem of deeper understanding or simply a modern-day twist on old superstitions. We'll look at reasons people find themselves captivated by it, the potential psychological factors at play, and the ways you can harness genuine methods of self-improvement without relying on an unproven process. This promises to be a journey that may challenge certain assumptions. Perhaps you've tried the practice yourself, maybe you're teetering on the edge of trying it, or maybe you're brand new to the concept. No matter where you stand, stick around. By the time we reach the end of this comprehensive exploration, you'll be equipped with insights that will help you forge a more grounded, fulfilling path toward growth, peace, and abundance. No salt bowl required. In many corners of the internet, you'll find references to a method involving a slip of paper, often with your name or a short, personal statement on it, immersed in salt water. It's sometimes claimed that this is an ancient practice or that it's based on particular philosophical traditions. According to enthusiasts, the mixture of salt and water acts as a conduit for transformation, purging one's negative energy and drawing in waves of positivity or success. To be fair, the concept of using salt in rituals is not brand new. Historically, salt has been revered for its purifying qualities, not just symbolically, but in everyday life. Before refrigeration, salt was crucial for preserving food. Culturally, certain communities have treated salt with respect, using it in blessings, wards, or ceremonies. As for water, it's often held as a universal symbol of renewal, flow, and life itself. When we combine these two elements in a spiritual context, it's not surprising that people see it as a potent combination. However, the idea of physically writing your name and dropping it into salt water for guaranteed cosmic blessings appears to be a far more modern invention. Indeed, you'll see references that suggest it's anchored in specific traditions, but actual historical or textual evidence is thin. In many recognized texts, whether from established spiritual lineages or widely accepted philosophical frameworks, the practice is never laid out in the simplistic form that's so often touted online. That's not to say some folks haven't tried it and reported changes in their lives, but we need to be cautious. Is it truly the salt water performing wonders? Or could there be other explanations, like the power of believing in something, the shift in mindset that compels you to take new actions, or a coincidence that lines up with your fresh sense of optimism? Before we jump into any grand conclusions, let's illuminate some of the broader themes that might be fueling this popular method. We'll look at the notion of illusions versus workable ideas, the difference between superstition and mindful practice, and how people interpret positive results from something intangible. To lend credibility to the name in saltwater approach, many promoters invoke grand references, phrases like ancient teachings, secret knowledge, or sacred wisdom. They may even claim it's part of a major philosophical path or that it's been handed down by revered sages. That alone might sound compelling, especially if you hear it while already longing for hope or a quick fix to life's challenges. Yet, when pressed for specifics, such as direct textual citations, references to recognized teachers within well-established traditions, or even historical accounts, these details often vanish. Instead, you'll find vague assurances that this is well known, everyone who tries it sees results, or that the universe rewards you for it. Such broad statements, however, never quite answer the question, who exactly has validated this practice? In reality, if you explore widely recognized sources from spiritual teachings, you might discover references to water ceremonies or the use of salt for purification. But these typically occur in structured rituals that involve the entire community, guided by trained practitioners or leaders. Rarely, if ever, do they take the form of write your name on a slip, dunk it in salt water, and watch the miracles roll in. So why might certain individuals attach the name of a revered spiritual tradition to this method if it doesn't have a clear historical basis? One possibility is that it's an easy way to offer the practice a veneer of legitimacy. Another is that it taps into a broader phenomenon. We love the idea that a quick, straightforward action could produce far-reaching effects. Tying it to a respected tradition might make the claim feel more plausible, even if it's not truly part of that tradition's recognized repertoire. This raises another point. Authenticity in spiritual or philosophical pursuits isn't about blind acceptance of a claim. Instead, it's about careful investigation, reflection, and, in many traditions, respectful dialogue with teachers or communities. So if you've ever felt uncertain about whether a method is real, you're not alone. Keeping a healthy sense of discernment is part of every meaningful journey. Many long-standing approaches to personal or spiritual development emphasize the importance of mindful techniques, activities that encourage self-reflection, gratitude, patience, and ethical living. For instance, well-documented philosophical traditions might encourage quiet contemplation, journaling, or the recitation of certain verses. The purpose is often to help the practitioner become more aware of their thoughts, their feelings, and their behaviors, rather than to promise immediate external changes like sudden bursts of wealth or unstoppable luck. Salt water can be used in some settings as a symbolic gesture, perhaps to represent cleansing from unhelpful patterns. But the genuine power frequently comes from your internal process, your willingness to be introspective, your commitment to changing old habits, and your resolve to treat yourself and others with kindness. In fact, that's the essence of many recognized teaching lineages. Methods that spur you to look inward, transform destructive mental patterns, cultivate wisdom, and approach others with compassion. Through that long-term process, external improvements can happen. People who shift their mindset often see opportunities they missed before. They become kinder, more proactive, or more grateful. All of that can indeed lead to wonderful changes in relationships, finances, and overall well-being. However, focusing purely on a bowl of salt water, as if it alone commands universal forces to favor you, risks oversimplifying a more profound and nuanced approach. By centering on what's inside, your perception, your choices, your sincerity, your transformations become sustainable and real, not dependent on a handful of crystals, a piece of paper, or a few grains of salt. If you've ever come across the claim that dropping your name in salt water can flip your life upside down in a good way, then please share your own experience in the comments. Maybe you tried it, or maybe you know someone who swears by it. Has it felt useful or confusing? Everyone's perspective is valuable. So let's get a conversation started. And while you're at it, go ahead and tap the like button if you're curious to discover fresh, more effective ways of approaching personal growth. By doing so, you're not only supporting this content, but also signaling that we, collectively, are open to deeper exploration instead of just chasing easy magical fixes. Here are some statements to remind yourself that true change often begins with your outlook, dedication, and self-awareness. If any of these ring true, feel free to write them down or say them out loud. My growth depends on my thoughtful actions and evolving perspective. I can explore new paths without grasping at simple, quick fixes. I trust my capacity to spark real transformation through mindful choices. By reinforcing these ideas, you keep your focus on genuine growth rather than placing hope in external objects or superficial rituals. It can be fascinating to observe why certain methods spread so far and wide. A mixture of curiosity, a desire for easy solutions, and repeated anecdotes on social media all converge to create a wave of excitement. But there's also more happening beneath the surface. The wish for immediate relief. Life can be stressful. Relationship issues, job uncertainty, or personal goals that feel out of reach. When someone offers an easy remedy that supposedly cleanses negativity or ushers in prosperity, it's appealing to see if it might just work. Confirmation by personal stories. If people post on forums or comment sections that "I did the name in saltwater thing and magically got a bonus at work," others might interpret that as undeniable proof. In reality, people experience random positive events all the time. But if it happens shortly after a ritual, it's easy to link the two, even if there's no real causal connection. Desire for a sense of control. Feeling powerless in the face of life's unpredictability can be unsettling. Having a small, tangible ritual you can do at home might foster a comforting sense of control, even if the actual effect is minimal. Overestimation of rarity. Humans have a tendency to notice and remember uncommon or dramatic outcomes more than mundane ones. If one person in 100 does see something they label as miraculous, that's the story that spreads, overshadowing the quiet majority who tried the same technique and saw no discernible difference. These factors don't mean the people are naive. Rather, it highlights how strongly we yearn for any approach that might simplify or improve our lives. Let's systematically address what is usually promised by the name in saltwater approach. Salt water dissolves problems. Yes, salt water can clean surfaces, preserve food, and clear our nasal passages during certain treatments, but it doesn't have proven capabilities to eradicate intangible issues like financial stress, heartbreak, or spiritual emptiness. Symbolic representation might help you psychologically, but that's not the same as guaranteed external changes. Writing your name channels your identity. Many practices use the concept of writing names or statements. It can be powerful to see your personal goals or identity physically on paper. Still, the effectiveness typically arises from how that written intention influences your mindset, not from a supernatural property of the pen strokes themselves. The universe grants blessings after the ritual. This concept suggests a cosmic reward triggered by the simple act of dunking your name in a salt solution. While many traditions mention universal harmony or cosmic feedback, they typically emphasize consistent moral conduct, compassion, introspection, and perseverance, not a single quick step. This has an ancient heritage. As we noted, real references in well-documented sources are scarce. Ritualistic uses of salt or water exist in many places, but a direct write your name and wait for wonders approach is not widely supported in recognized histories of spiritual practice. Each of these claims can provide psychological or symbolic comfort. However, the actual catalyst for real transformations, like improved relationships, greater finances, or heightened well-being, is more often the consistent effort you invest in changing habits, attitudes, and decisions. If the breakdown above speaks to you, please add a comment about which of the key claims you find most intriguing or questionable. It's always interesting to see where folks draw the line between possibility and skepticism. Also, consider sharing this discussion with someone who might be intrigued by these ideas. They might be exploring methods for self-improvement, or they might have encountered the saltwater notion too. Spreading thoughtful, grounded perspectives ensures we all learn together. Instead of focusing on a single external gesture, many well-established teachings promote deeper approaches. Few ideas that have guided countless people across cultures and centuries. Self-reflection, journaling, or meditating daily can reveal patterns in your thinking and behavior. By identifying harmful habits like negative self-talk, impulsive spending, or procrastination, you can work systematically to improve. No bowl required. Community and service. Engaging in altruistic acts or community-driven projects can shift your perspective from self-absorption to a sense of connection. Feeling part of something bigger than yourself can nurture genuine positivity and improved mental health. Ethical living. Many spiritual traditions recommend behaviors like honesty, compassion, moderation, and generosity. It's not flashy or instant, but aligning your conduct with these virtues often yields a more harmonious and fulfilling life. Gradual habit formation, setting practical goals. From saving money to exercising or refining your interpersonal skills, fosters self-reliance and direct evidence of progress. While it may take more effort than a single ritual, the outcome is typically robust and lasting. By devoting your efforts to any or all of these areas, you stand a much better chance of creating long-term shifts in your reality. Let's pause to reaffirm some guiding perspectives. These are gentle reminders that you hold much of the power in your own personal growth. I cultivate lasting change by working on my thoughts, words, and actions each day. Small, consistent efforts often produce more profound outcomes than any single ceremony. I can embrace meaningful practices that fit my values rather than chasing superficial methods. Feel free to repeat them, note them down, or share them. The more often you reinforce these truths, the easier it becomes to stay anchored in productive, reality-based growth. When you dive into widely recognized spiritual or philosophical texts, you'll often find references to the transformation of mind and heart. Classic discussions revolve around topics like compassion. In many traditions, if you aspire to better health or a calmer environment, you direct your energy toward empathy for others, charitable actions, or mindful listening. Patience. You stay calm even when life's storms rage. You don't expect miracles overnight. You trust the slow but meaningful process of internal development. Mindful attention. Instead of drifting on autopilot, you become keenly aware of your environment, your emotional states, and how you respond to adversity. Through this awareness, you sidestep needless suffering or drama. Ethical decision-making. By choosing honesty, fairness, and kindness, you generate better relationships. Opportunities align more naturally with an ethical life as people trust and value your presence. Compare that to the idea of simply placing a piece of paper in salt water and waiting. While there may be a certain elegance to the idea, it does not typically encapsulate the depth and breadth found in these recognized teachings. If anything, legitimate traditions might see the saltwater method as a small metaphor, useful if it motivates you to reflect, but not a complete path in itself. Ritual by itself is not necessarily negative. Symbolic acts, like lighting a candle for peace, writing goals on paper, or placing an important object in a special container, can ground your intentions in the physical world. They can serve as reminders that you're committed to certain changes or decisions. The difference arises when a ritual is declared to be a guaranteed shortcut to significant external rewards, particularly if it's tied to grand claims that it's ancient or officially endorsed by major lineages, even though no verifiable sources back that up. A small ceremony can certainly help you focus, but transformation typically requires continuous reflection and willingness to adapt your life's trajectory. So if you love the idea of using salt or water in a personal tradition, that's fine. Just be mindful that the real power lies in your sincerity, determination, and capacity for steady self-improvement. Now's a good time to leave a quick remark if you've previously tried any ritual, big or small, that you hoped would bring about a shift in your life. What did you feel afterward? Did you notice real changes? Sharing your story might resonate with someone else watching. Also, if you're finding this breakdown helpful or thought-provoking, Tap that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on more explorations of popular beliefs and practical alternatives. The journey to real understanding is ongoing, and we'll keep examining new claims in the future. Some individuals are convinced that writing their name on paper and letting it float in salt water triggered wonderful transformations. They might say, "My finances improved the very next week," or "I felt a wave of calm after I did it, so it must be real." It's vital to acknowledge the experiences of those who genuinely felt or observed changes. However, if you dig deeper, you might discover there were other factors at play. Did that person also make more proactive decisions at work? Did they reconnect with friends who offered them help or opened doors? Did the wave of calm stem from the belief that they'd found a solution, prompting them to stop worrying excessively? In many cases, focusing wholeheartedly on any ritual can shift your mindset. If you believe something is washing away your troubles, you might relax enough to see creative solutions or seize good opportunities. That's your mind doing the heavy lifting, not necessarily the mixture of salt and water. This is reminiscent of the placebo effect, where the real power is in your conviction and changed attitude, rather than in the sugar pill or saltwater jar in this case. To put it plainly, you can harness mindset shifts and enjoy the results. Just be cautious about attributing all those results to a single external procedure. Life is complex, and your sincere, ongoing efforts often matter more than you realize. Take a moment to ground yourself with a fresh set of reminders. I celebrate positive shifts without clinging to simplistic explanations. My own mindset and consistent actions create lasting results. When I trust my inner strength, I can see and grasp real opportunities. Repeating these helps you remain balanced, open to wonder and possibility, yet firmly rooted in self-agency. If your goal is to infuse your life with more joy, abundance, health, or peace, consider these approaches, all of which have stood the test of time and evidence. Intentional practice. Develop a schedule for quiet reflection. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each day in a calm place, focusing on your breath or a gentle affirmation. Over time, this fosters mental clarity and stress reduction, both of which help you respond better to challenges. Community connection. Seek communities, online or offline, centered on personal growth, shared goals, or mutual support. A sense of belonging can be transformative. Human beings thrive when they feel heard, validated, and motivated by peers. Realistic action steps. If you want to tackle financial issues, learn about budgeting or new career skills. If you need better relationships, practice communication exercises or read about conflict resolution. Each tangible step builds genuine momentum. Reflect and adapt. Keep track of your progress. If something you try doesn't yield improvements, that's an opportunity to tweak your approach, not a reason to lose hope. The more flexible you remain, the more effectively you can discover strategies that fit your unique situation. This kind of holistic approach focuses on integrative well-being, mind, emotions, and behaviors, rather than leaning on a short ceremony or a single object to fix everything. Set a clear goal. Instead of saying, "I want more prosperity," define what that looks like. Maybe a more stable job, a certain income bracket, or a business venture. The more precise you are, the easier it becomes to chart a path. Identify daily actions. Break the goal down into smaller tasks. For instance, if your ambition is a more fulfilling career, you might revise your resume, network, or take a specialized course. Symbolic rituals might be fun or motivational, but actual progress usually requires systematic effort. Monitor and celebrate milestones. Keep a calendar or journal noting each small achievement. Celebrations can be as modest as treating yourself to an evening of relaxation or sharing your excitement with a friend. This fosters a sense of positivity and motivation. Stay open to adjustment. If something isn't working, try a different tactic. Authentic growth is rarely a straight line. It's more like an evolving journey with curves and loops. By accepting that from the outset, you won't be discouraged by a setback. This approach stands in stark contrast to set it and forget it magical routines. While the latter might offer short-lived excitement, real personal development is a continuous interplay of learning, acting, reflecting, and refining. Take a moment to post your best piece of advice for someone seeking a real breakthrough in life. Maybe it's a tip about finances, mental health, relationships, or any domain you care about. By pooling our wisdom, we build a well-rounded resource that can help countless others. If you haven't yet, this is also a wonderful time to tap the notification option. That way, you'll be promptly informed whenever we explore new topics or debunk fresh claims, so you can keep expanding your understanding and refining your perspective. A significant reason many people crave one-step rituals is that life feels relentlessly busy and complicated. Who has time to read entire philosophical texts or to attempt lengthy introspection? In that sense, it's understandable that a basic approach, like scrawling your name and placing it in salt water, would gain traction. It promises everything with minimal effort. But imagine if you poured that same energy into a consistent, thoughtful routine that helps you evolve day by day. Over months or years, that approach can lead to breakthroughs you didn't think possible at first. Genuine transformation isn't always flashy. It can be subtle, revealing itself through renewed self-confidence, deeper relationships, or a calmer approach to everyday dilemmas. You might also discover that once you let go of the idea that a single bowl of salt water can solve your problems, you feel a greater sense of empowerment. Instead of waiting for cosmic forces to rearrange your life, you'll step into your own capacity to design the life you want, one deliberate step at a time. That's not to say you have to discard every symbol or small practice you enjoy. Some find meaning in lighting incense while meditating or placing a crystal in their workspace as a prompt for calm. The difference is acknowledging these as aids to your mindset, not guaranteed universal commands. Let's reinforce a perspective of ongoing self-discovery. I recognize my own ability to grow moment by moment, choice by choice. Each day is a chance to align my actions with the future I desire. I appreciate small symbols only insofar as they enrich my determination and clarity. Take a breath. Let these ideas settle in. Sometimes a single sentence can be enough to spark a refreshed outlook for the entire day. We've covered a lot of ground in this conversation. The questionable basis of the name in saltwater concept, why individuals are drawn to such methods, the distinction between symbolic gestures and deeper spiritual or philosophical teachings, how real personal development usually arises from reflection, consistent effort, community support, and ethical orientation. Now that you've heard these perspectives, the choice is yours. Continue relying on a simplistic method, hoping it has hidden cosmic backing, or step into a more robust approach that acknowledges the complexity and the beauty of genuine transformation. By prioritizing daily introspection, ethical living, and purposeful actions, you place the power of change in your own hands. You become an active participant in the evolution of your life rather than a passive spectator waiting for salt water to deliver blessings on its own. That shift can be both liberating and exhilarating. There's a satisfaction in knowing you're shaping your reality in real time, guided by wisdom and intention. If you or someone you know is still intrigued by the claim of writing your name and letting it soak in salt water, consider sharing these insights. Point them to a broader range of strategies, like journaling, setting goals, reaching out to supportive communities, or cultivating a meditative practice. Those building blocks tend to hold up much more reliably when life's storms come your way. Yet there's also one more detail that might keep you wondering. People all over insist that waking up at 3 a.m. is some sort of special sign. Have you heard that one too? The next piece of our journey explores whether there's any truth to that late-night buzz. Brace yourself, it might be more revealing than you'd expect. If this exploration has stirred your curiosity, drop a note in the comments about which aspect resonated with you the most. Was it the psychological breakdown of why people believe in quick fixes, the spotlight on authentic methods for lasting change, or something else entirely? And if you haven't yet, this is a wonderful moment to subscribe and remain connected. A shared journey is often more fruitful, and it's in continuing conversations that we unlock fresh layers of understanding. Let's keep the dialogue alive, supporting one another in forging genuine progress rather than chasing illusions. Thank you for investing your time here. May your path ahead be guided by reflection, sincerity, and the quiet confidence that you can indeed shape your own story without needing to rely on a piece of paper and a bowl of salt water. Whenever you're ready for more insights, come on back. There's always another angle to explore, another empowering idea to discover, and another perspective to spark that inner transformation. Until we meet again, remember, real growth doesn't require complicated or secret formulas. It stems from the day-to-day process of aligning your heart, mind, and actions, an ever-evolving dance that you lead step by mindful step. And if you're curious about that middle-of-the-night phenomenon so many folks are talking about, be sure to check out the upcoming video. They lied, the truth about waking up at 3 a.m. You might be surprised at what you learn.